some questionnaires and all that using the code. Yeah.
Also, this is done.
Yeah. Thank you for your support and your help. Cool.
Are you better? Are you better?
Yes, now contract covered.
No, you're covered. Okay.
I eat too much over weekend.
You eat too much over the weekend.
Yes. So then some food poisoning.
Food poisoning.
Yes, for 2 days.
Okay. But it's only yourself, but not your
only
child and things like that.
No, only me. Yeah, I like eating.
贪吃，
不用紧，可以吃是福。
吃是福哦。
是的，我很爱吃。
Your child is how old?
I've got 2 girls.
Oh, you got 2 already ah? I thought you had 1 only.
One 4 years. The other one is going to 1 next month.
Wow. Okay, I remember you being pregnant for the second one. I don't remember you pregnant 4 years ago.
During COVID time.
Okay, maybe that's why.
Yes. At that time, we wasn't working at home, so it's good time to plan.
Kids.
Yes.
Okay. 2 girls ah. You also
意
2
语
girls right?
意语 Hi, gonna pass this down so that we can have like a sticker for names. I'll start with my own. Friven. I think Friven, yeah.
Actually, only people need to stick. Everyone know each other, the rest.
No, but I need to know their name ma. It's for me ma.
For
It's for me.
Instruction,
It's for me. You know, like when we go to the army, everyone have to shave off their hair, so that we all become the same.
For compliance reason, I
Yeah.
also write my name just in case somebody don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, the day that one
To-
guy
just to,
leave, yeah, I shake his hand. Oh, where are you from? He said, I'm from Tech. I say, hi, I'm Thomas. Then he looked at me with a very blank look. Then he asked me, which department you're from? I said, which department?
Headquarters.
Headquarters, yeah, next time I should say headquarters. 没有了，哦，
你写了。
Okay, write your name, Daryl. Oh, and
Yeah.
corporate. Okay. The pen is green. So people we have 10 exactly.
Cool.
10.
Yeah. Cool. Really nice.
Bernadette wants to speak to us for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. What is it?
Do you guys see each other often? That you're actually permanently stationed here, right? This is your. Oh, you came. Oh, I see. So you might not see each other like on a day-to-day basis. Not the entire group.
Not sitting together lah.
Yeah.
But we definitely see each other in
Cool.
office. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
The ferry.
Cool. On the ferry. Oh, yeah. Wait, I want to get into the. I understand you guys only have your new email 4 months only, right?
Yeah, about that, 4 months.
Never think about it so much.
Time flies.
Hey, wait. T3R 3ST. Hello.
It's a bit strange you're here. Why?
You can sit anywhere.
Why? Please sit down. Please sit down.
You're gonna need this.
Hey, Tiffany.
Hello.
Thank you.
Come from the seat. Sit at the back.
Okay, sit back. Okay, no.
I'm an observer.
Oh, you're observer. I'm
No,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
no observers.
No observers lah. Okay, frequency no observer.
It's either you're in
Oh, you're out.
or you're in.
No option of out.
It's just you're in or you're in.
If you're here, you're in.
Everybody's here already.
It's like when you ask, when the leader says something, then the leader says, "Am I right or am I right?" Like you're right. Okay, so this is when you finish whatever last email, your text message, so that you can dedicate about 2 hours for yourself, okay, and the team. So by all means, finish what you need to do. Oh, I got a mirror.
Julian. Oh, then Julian.
Wow, I cannot remember.
Hey.
Sorry.
Actually, 10, right? 9 of us or 10?
Including you is that?
I think it's not fair to make him do a 3-minute dance, just 1 minute. 1 minute.
He's very good at dancing, no.
Yeah.
Somebody-
Not so, I mean,
Say something about people don't know about you. Oh, I like dancing.
Very long ago.
It's
okay,
true, right?
let's check your TikTok account. Okay, do we have it on the, oh, the colors
Please
are,
mention of the HDMI cable.
this,
Sometimes the HDMI cable has some problem with the connection. Maybe plug out and plug in again.
okay.
Do you like how it's meant to be the color?
That is the connect. Really the.
Oh, okay, okay.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. Let me take this to the side here. This the side here. Drag it to the next side. Hey, it still came up. Okay, somewhere here is fine. Okay. Good? How are you guys today? Good. So if names and then just my name is Friven. You go and make a formal complaint, it's okay because they won't be able to find me. Anyway, I used this name since I was 7. Me and Thomas, we were at National Junior College together when we were a little bit younger. Right? And Julian, okay, it's great. So at least I can, like, it's not awkward. It's like, Alfred, what do you think? You know, rather than like, you, right? So it's more to help me. I understand it's a close-knit group, although big organization, but you guys seems like a friendly bunch. Yeah, at least you got smiles. You don't look like. Okay, so let's go to today's session, and thank you for having me here. Today, after 2 hours, I want you to walk away with a different kind of belief system in who you are and what you are about. There's no magic formula, there's no powder or anything. So, but you will take away a lot if you really participate and join in. So that's why I wanted you to clear your emails. at least for 2 hours. I mean, it's not like the whole day, right? It's only the next 2 hours. So to maximize and get the most out of the session, okay? And the sweet spot, I will explain what is this thing called the sweet spot. It's got nothing about the sugar content or anything like that, I promise you. But if you think of yourself in today's world, right? I mean, I don't know whether you see glimpses of you in the pictures here. You know, sometimes you might be at the dining table, but it seems like you are checking emails or you're trying to sort out some work. It's about how we can perhaps figure out a way to raise our productivity levels and also to exercise a little bit of constraint and being slightly selfish in the positive and the good way. Because too often, many of you, myself included, you might feel like, I cannot be selfish because I cannot think of myself. And in fact, in our culture, we are taught, you know, don't think of yourself. But then, if you really look at the reality, right, if you have a responsibility and you have to really take care of your family, what happens if you collapse and you cannot take it anymore? Isn't that a bigger problem than you taking care of yourself? And even at work, you take care of yourself so that you can perform. I mean, like, how can you perform if you are like, you know, later I will share my story. How can you perform when you're in a state of really feeling like the sky is gloomy and everything's going to go wrong? How can you perform, right? So let's deal with a little bit of that. Circle of trust, like, macam we have like a small cozy group. So at least for these 2 hours, let's exercise a little bit of a code of conduct, right? Be open. I mean, we'll be respectful of each other. We're not gonna, I don't think anyone here looks like you're the kind who's gonna say something really nasty just to have a personal attack on another person. But at the same time, be quite as honest and as willing to share as you can, because it is not the formula per se, but it's the structure of how we use the 2 hours that I'm hoping that you will feel, you will get the benefits of it, right? Everything, if you share anything, and you can always caveat it, this one a bit more P&C, but I don't mind sharing now. After that, we don't share to other people, if there ever is such a detail that you share, right? And see this as your investment, okay? Something that is precious to you. When we do something, when you put in more, you'll be able to take out more. I mean, if you are watching TV, you are not going to follow the story if you're doing 1,000 and other things, right? So it depends on how passionate you are. But today's story and today's content is about you. So no one else can work on you other than yourself, right? After the standard NS and all that, but I was lucky in that I got a HDB scholarship. I went to the UK, I studied architecture. And when I came back, of course, HDB scholar, you are being given the ECAs and the duties to show that you are capable, because in a way, the organization has to show that they've made a wise decision, right? If you think about it, they have to do that, right? So I did well, and then I rose up the rank, and I was doing really, really well. In 2010, in fact, I won the accolade of 20 under 45 by URA. That means, like, this is the group of 20 architects under the age of 45 who is going to contribute significantly to our built environment. And that's like a big thing, of course, you know, to the industry, right? But lo and behold, what happened was, at the same time as I was doing well, I was losing the sense of how to cook and balance things. Instilled in me, and I'm to a certain degree, I suppose, in all of us from Asian culture, especially, is this sense of wanting to do better, to excel, always give your best, you know? So much so that for me, it was, even when there was too much, I was still like trying my utmost and my best, right? That didn't completely break me down. It led me to move to the UK, but it was slightly more managed when I went go to the UK, because for those of you who have lived elsewhere or you worked elsewhere, you know that actually Singapore is pretty, like everyone has to function in a certain way. The bandwidth is not very broad. In other countries, the bandwidth is broader, right? So it was more balanced, and in the UK, over here I was the head of Archi for Sabana, if you know architectural practices. But in UK, I grew a team of architects from just one person for the DP Architects London arm. And the pivotal moment happened at the pandemic. When the pandemic happened, during lockdown, you remember not? Like long time ago already, right? When the lockdown happened, there was all this scenario planning about like with the CFO, like what is the worst case scenario? If this worst case scenario happen, what are you going to do, right? Basically, close shop lah. I mean, worst case scenario, disband, nothing. And many of these things were like causing me like, really lose it because I'm not too worried about me having no income, but when I imagine having to tell the team through Zoom like, hey, guys, like 1 more month after that, good luck, It's like all these things was just too much. And I went to a state of basically painting the dark clouds permanently. I cannot smile anymore. I was hoping that maybe I will be, when you go out and buy a coffee, I was hoping that a young kid would steal a car and then tomorrow I don't have to wake up to deal with this, right? Some of you might have something similar but only certain moments. But imagine when this very, very bad feeling happens every day, it's very sian. It's very like you are really down. And I know I'm just being silly. But just like some things, when you feel a certain way, you cannot talk sense and get yourself out of it. So I went onto medication after trying many things, and I continued working for a bit, but after some moments later, I exited. By the end of 21, I exited from my traditional architectural role, running the office and all that. And I wanted to decide, this is when the medication helped me to become like, not everything is going to work, but it's okay, which is normal. And being a Christian and having things happen, I started to reflect that scholarship and all these things, maybe they're all supposed to come together so that I will then embark onto the next half of a different journey, albeit doesn't have to be like completely different because I am still trained in architecture. I've still got a lot of business and human management skills, a lot of acumen in looking at a strategic thing and all that. But my own personal experience led me to maybe what I want to do is to share stories, is to do coaching, and to learn how to communicate and tell people maybe taking care of themselves, and to figure out what are the techniques so that people can make it into actionable routines and exercises for themselves. In a way, I see that I want to be the person that I wish I could have attended a workshop to tell me his story, then I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I could take care of myself better. Do you know what I mean? I want to be the person who could have done that. Like I wish I could have met when I was younger so as to alert me. But all things said, what happens is you realize that for us as human beings, until the pain is there, right? More often than not, we will push it aside, right? You think of the last time you had a toothache. I mean, there were many telltale signs, but then you thought, a bit later. Then when the pain hits, you need to action. Your backache, right? When you are younger, then many things. So, but nevertheless, I still feel the calling to want to do something that is towards that. So, when I had my first book, I mean, I'm sharing my 3 books later. Thomas has the first set. I was talking about architecture, well-being, happiness, but I have also expanded my repertoire to like other concepts of how generally you can teach yourself to process where you are today when you are much younger, maybe you is not so fruitful, but when you are working 5 years, 8 years, 10 years into your career, there will come a time where it's useful to reflect a little bit. Okay, so that is what today is about. And who knows the film Matrix? Got see before? Or it's like, oh, that one is like so old, it's like Gone with the Wind. Like it's like a oldies, okay?
I'm surprised
Oh,
Julian,
ah.
I'm surprised that Julian.
Okay, so
Julian not born yet.
Story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You
remember
take
this
the
scene?
red pill.
Yeah?
You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
So the challenge is many of us might be in a situation to feel that you can't win it all. You must take red pill or the blue pill. If you want to do well in your career, then you have to sacrifice your private life, right? Of course, I'm also not telling you that, you can have both things amazing, but life is about a balance. You don't have to deprive yourself, it's only this or it's only that, right? So how do we get the best of both worlds and keep it in balance, right? Take care and focus on your own personal life, but with work, how can you be more productive? How can you be more compact? How can you intensify and make more effective the investment of energy and resources that you put in to a task, right? I will cover that later. In fact, with a little bit of example of, let's say, some AI tools, second half. So my presentation today will cover the core content, which is your sweet spot, what it is, and you will be invited to pen some of your own notes. My system will actually just, right at the end, it will let you have the email to myself so that you have your own log. But we will also be able to use that to suggest some extra reading materials for you guys post-workshop, okay? And then the second half is, but money is important. But the money is important, actually more so time is important. So the concept of how to be productive, I have this acronym. I'm a Singaporean, I like acronyms. HIME, HIME. HIME means highest impact minimum effort. So it's like everything that you do, whatever energy that you put in, try to have one stone, two birds, or one stone, three birds. And you will realize that actually if you think of it, yeah, even to the extent of maybe, Daryl, something that you do, if you do it a certain way, maybe you are helping Alfred, right? And then Alfred have an easier life, but in return, Alfred might do something that is going to help Chang Min. But as individuals or as collective, the concept still applies, okay? So that's the second part. Huh? So EGM. How many of you feel that happiness is like a bit of a fluffy, it's like the kind of words that you talk when you pato, like those kind of, that kind of flowery stuff, right? But it's not completely untrue, but I want to give you the more rounded definition of what I will call the happiness. So EGM, if you have an AGM, maybe you have a P&L annual report meeting, but so AGM is the annual general meeting, right? Yeah. EGM, if you are in a company, is the extraordinary general meeting, right?
Wow.
It's a real official term in organizations. That is when, during the year before the AGM, something happens, then you have to call a meeting for a vote. But anyway, I'm not saying it's extraordinary general meeting. It's the acronym EGM for experiences, growth and learning, meaning and purpose. Okay, this is in my first book. So after reading, when I decided what I want to do, I cannot do it based on what I know or what I feel I know. So I read neuroscience, psychology, all these kind of things lah. And I started to realize actually the brain is connected to the body, and this is a bilateral direction, right? Actually, what your brain thinks, you control the muscles and the body and your heart. But actually, the body also signals to the brain. When you smile, right? If you have a pen if you smile, actually there are certain muscle action and there are certain signals that go to your brain. And when you want to smile, the signal goes to your face and you smile, right? But most people think that it's brain, then you smile. But if you do this, the scientist has proven that the same cocktail happens like when you are happy. So the muscle action also sends the signal of the same activity in that part of the brain. So it's not just, it isn't a one direction, it's two directions. So what that means is, if you were to do this every day, you will have it, no? Seriously, no? I mean, not in an example like Superman, but yeah. So if you know that there are clubs that they come together and they laugh, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing. It doesn't mean that therefore you transform, but there is a real physiological effect that is happening in the brain. Proven, because nowadays we can scan the activity of the brain, right? So experiences are important. Experiences, what does it mean? When you, hands up if you've ever queued to buy a new technology, like you are the one who queue and get the next iPhone or something, you know? So when you get something, or you go for a candlelight dinner with your partner, you go for a holiday, something nice, experiences. The way the experiences impact us is that you have a few hours of that feeling, a few days, maybe even a few months, right? But growth and learning and meaning and purpose has another dimension and aspects, okay, and is proven and anchored by the fact that you and I are human beings. How many of you have a pet at home? Fish, lizard, dog, cat. What do you have?
A dog.
Cool. What kind?
What do you call that?
I have a call. Just guessing.
Okay, cool. So you know that your dog, right, does not worry about tomorrow.
Is it?
No, your dog, the dog. No, the dog doesn't have this.
Dogs always worry about it.
No, the dog doesn't. Your dog, right, doesn't have the cognitive function of, wow, next term or 3 months later, God, can I afford this? Or doesn't have. It's just what we call present. Got food or not? I hungry. Food. What do I need to do? It's just living. Human beings, our brain is a lot more advanced. But our brain is more advanced because as we had to evolve to become more capable to survive, the brain changed. And this has been over about 200,000 years. And so one of the things that the brain evolved and realized that it has to do is you have to learn and acquire new skills. Right? You know, when there is a little baby, you don't tell the baby, oh, look, learn to walk, because the ability to walk will then give them a different capability. The ability to speak will give them a different capability. And the little baby doesn't, oh, you got 1 year baby, right? The baby doesn't decide that I'm going to learn. So I'm going to embark. Tomorrow I start my course to learn how to walk. It's part of survival, and it's the brain encouraging that I must learn this because you need to survive, broadly speaking. I mean, in today's terms, because we don't have to fight a saber-toothed tiger, but in the days when you have to run from a saber-toothed tiger, you have to learn, when I see the thing, what do I do? Do I freeze or what do I do? And then which place not to go, right? And then the third part, meaning and purpose, you are part of a gang, right? So when you come back and you see, hey, that part don't go, you try to tell the other, because Homo sapiens, we belong to the group of humans called Homo sapiens. Actually, the human species has got many different types, but today, only Homo sapiens exist. Homo sapiens are different, slightly different to the other types. broadly look the same, but actually you can prove that the shape is different and all that, right? Because Homo sapiens exists as a tribe. We are able to gang up into bigger groups to do bigger problems, to hunt as a larger group for survival. So maybe, and then later on it's like, maybe Louis, you're very good hunting, right? You go hunting. You don't have to pick berries. Maybe you know how to identify which are the fruits, right? You go and, different people do different things. And these different people do different things is connected to meaning and purpose. So if you exist in a group and then nobody talk to you, nobody find you useful, right? You will have this like, and the social media actually leverages onto this. It's not by chance. It's proved. I mean, there are like scientists who are paid tons of money who are giving you the ping, giving you all these things because they trigger the emotive and the response because we want to belong to a group, we want to be liked, we want to show that we are relevant and we can contribute. So meaning and purpose is when you feel that you are a member of a family. So you could be a father, you could be a brother, you could be a son, you could be a person who volunteered in a certain community or charity, meaning and purpose. So these three things help you to feel happiness. The experiences only will be very transient. It will be, after a while, you will feel like, I need the next thing. I need the next thing. But if you, and I'm not saying that that's bad. It's okay and it's good to have that. But having that desire to constantly learn is a natural thing. It's like almost like your brain wants to have that kind of food. So you want to constantly learn. It could be language, Don't think that as adults you're not in school anymore. It could be language, social etiquette, fine dining, salsa dancing, anything, right? Meaning and purpose, how you belong to something. So these three things then becomes the EGM of what I define as happiness. There are many different theoretical definitions, but I more or less read very wisely, and I have this version which is it's like easy to understand and it makes sense. Okay? So happiness becomes very important, and your own happiness determines a few things for you to operate very well in your job, your office, and your career, right? Because if you're a happy person and you are calm, you can compose yourself, you have much better mental clarity. Have you ever come across people who are like, they just feel like the world is horrible, they just feel like everyone wants to con them, they feel that every other colleague that they see is trying to backstab each other, they just feel that way. But when you feel that way, it's very difficult to have a very wholesome and open communication. And if you feel that and you communicate away, chances are it's very difficult for your bosses to appreciate your work, because you have this vibe, right? It doesn't feel like this person, and it's not a team player and things like that. And so it then has an impact on the network. So in your work, because many people might see the disjoint, happy, not happy, work is work, right? But believe me, again, scientists have proven that if you're happy, you actually perform well at work. Okay? And it comes together because you are not a robot. I mean, in simple terms, we are a lot more sophisticated and complex. So but you see, each of us has our own troubles, right? We struggle with different things. We have different bills to pay. We have responsibilities. So you got to work, you got to do all these things, you got deadlines. So it is useful to learn. So is there anything I can do about it? So one of the things that you can do about it and invest a little bit of attention is mindfulness. So I want to Shaoshen, good catch. So when we say mindfulness, what comes to mind? Any whatever. Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind. If someone say the word mindfulness, you think of?
Meditation.
Cool, okay. Sorry, your something Wen. Qian Wen, mindfulness.
Lack of thinking.
Okay. Are you a good catch? Oh, you could be a good catch. Okay.
Got 3 boys to play with.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, Tiffany.
Yeah,
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mindfulness in
What-
the moment.
Okay. Being present.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You don't. You're just worried about all the things here. So, mindfulness is whatever type and format of zoning out into a smaller thing. You know, actually, every one of us has done. Even if you don't meditate, you don't do yoga, you've done some kind of mindfulness because you daydream before, right? I'm sure in your life. I mean, hopefully you're not a perpetual and a permanent daydreamer, but you daydream before, right? So when you kind of zone out into something, like the other things that's happening, you were not paying attention. So mindfulness can be when you see something and then you start to imagine. When you touch something, you start to have recall back some memories, or you visualize something. And the simple definition is when something external to you starts to go further away for that brief moment, whatever is the brief moment, right? And another way of describing is being present. So, okay, everyone understand Chinese here, right? Present. What is the Chinese word for present?
活在当下.
Oh, this one very cheap. No, I was going for the shallow version. Present. 不是 I give you Christmas. I give you but no. I mean, we made it a joke, but kudos to you. It's like that's the proper one. But I'm just saying present is like Liu lah. Okay, so you think of when you associate present with Liu, right? It's something to treasure, you know. But logically speaking, if you think about it, you can't really do anything about what happened yesterday anymore. Can you really change the future? But the only thing that you can really do something about is right now, right? Isn't it? So what happened in the past, what happened in the future, they are just things that can distract you. But more often than not, we are putting energy into these two things, but when we forget that we are present. So mindfulness is an exercise of being present. So before we go to the definition of the sweet spot, hands up if you've ever done a meditation before. I promise this one 5 minutes will be quite fun. You do meditation?
Yes.
Are you like a regular meditator or every morning? So yeah, you see something about Julian, right? So of course we also know that very good. Yeah, I mean later on, if we have time, be interesting for you to share, because the fact that you do every morning, there must be a reason, right? Yeah, I mean you felt that it helps you, or there is a routine that benefits you. But I want to suggest to everyone that we're going to do 5 minutes. But in this 5 minutes, very simple. There's no kind of strange posture or nothing. Sit upright so that you can breathe well. Your spine is nice because of course you can't breathe, so you breathe well. And then follow what this 5 minute audio, I'm going to do it as well, is describing. And have your eyes, as it tells you so, your eyes gently closed. Don't care about what the other person looked like or what's going on. It's just be selfish. It's just you, okay? Right?
Welcome. So glad to have you join me in this short 5-minute meditation exercise. Find a comfortable seat, either feet resting on the floor or legs crossed. Let your spine rise naturally, tall yet relaxed, giving your lungs room to breathe. Soften the shoulders. Let the hands rest where they feel at ease. For the next 30 seconds, let's do our basic breathing awareness exercise. Close your eyes or lower your gaze. Feel one slow inhale and an unhurried exhale. Notice the cool air coming in, the gentle warmth going out. Allow the breath to settle into its own rhythm. Let's condition our body and mind to appreciate using a technique of contrast. Now, begin to clench. Start with the toes, curl them tight. Add the calves, the thighs, the belly. Form gentle fists, tense the arms, the shoulders, even the face. Hold this full body squeeze for one last deep inhale. Next, we exercise the release. Exhale and let it all go. Feel the muscles dissolve as though your body is floating on calm water. Bring attention to the soles of the feet. Sense any tingling or warmth. If a thought drifts in, note it kindly and let it drift away. Return to the feet. 1. Move to the ankles. Feel the gentle pulse of life there. Up to the calves, the backs and fronts of the lower legs. Notice the knees, caps, sides, and the space behind. Soften into the thighs, heavy and supported. Rest awareness in the hips and pelvis, spacious and steady. Follow the breath to the lower back and belly, rising and falling. Feel each vertebra in the mid-back, then the widening of the rib cage. Relax the chest, sense the quiet beating of the heart. Travel to the shoulders, letting them melt away from the ears. Down the upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and to each palm and finger. Float back up through the arms to the neck, long and free. Soften the jaw, the cheeks, the muscles around the eyes. Unfurrow the brow, smooth the forehead, and finally rest on the very crown of the head. Throughout this scan, whenever thoughts appear, gently label them thinking, set them down, and return to the place you last felt. From time to time, some external thoughts might come in. Notice it and then just let it go. Let it be a time just for your mindfulness now. As we go into moments of silence and quiet music, enjoy your own rhythm of giving attention to the breathing and paying attention to parts of your body getting in sync with your breathing. Feel yourself being present and being fully here this very moment. Keep to your breathing count. Maintain awareness of your inhale and exhale. We are coming to the close of the session. Begin to sense the whole body as one connected field, light, open, and at ease. Notice the natural breath once more. When you're ready, invite a deeper inhale, maybe a soft stretch of the fingers or toes. Blink the eyes open. Carry this ease with you into the next moments of your day. Thank you for meditating.
You rub your hands together so that there's a bit of heat, and then you put your hands onto your eyes, and then you feel the like transfer a bit of the heat onto your eyes, almost like you're waking up, feeling nice and happy. So, how quick feedback. So this is like a bit rushed version lah, okay, but nevertheless, mindfulness can also be as everyday as washing plates. You know, when you're washing plates, you can be thinking of bills, shopping, TV drama, agenda items for your next meeting. you can be just washing plates. Like just washing plates. And the reason why that is useful is even your brain, right, your supercomputer, right, needs a bit of to clear the cache, you know, because there's a lot of like keep storing, process, storage, right? You have to like clear the cache a little bit, right? Declutter the buffer a little bit. And when the cache is cleared, they got more room to more expediently process the next task. So this decluttering, if you do every day, it's been proven. People find that it impacts them. Yeah. In time to come, and I'll invite you guys if you are interested, because in time to come, I'm developing my app, and I'm inviting a group of people to say, okay, if you want to try, then, you know, we're going to do like an exercise for the next 30 days. You're going to use this 5-minute app, and then, but the app will track whether you do or not, but then every other day there'll be like a quick 5-second question. Then over the 30 days, we plot whether it makes you feel good. But it's not just you, because there are many people. It is almost like a research kind of finding thing, you know. That's what I want to do. Coming to the sweet spot. So in your life, for each one of us, if you really sit back and look at it, there are actually 4 circles. Okay? There are things that excites you. You feel like, you know, not the stressful way, but like exciting way. Things that you like to do, right? Joy. There are things that you are quite good at doing. For some of us, it could be like looking at patterns in numbers. For some of us, it could be a certain skill in analyzing a situation or a problem. Different, right? I mean, but sometimes you like doing. I like to play music, but I'm not so good at playing music. Yeah. Sometimes I'm quite good at doing mathematical analytics, but it's not really the thing that I love doing. I'm quite good at doing it, but it doesn't make me excited and really smile inside. There are also things that's what the world needs, right? Like if you're, the easiest example, if you're serving in a charity or something, then the world needs you, right? Or maybe you're solving a problem and the world needs cleaner fuel, for example, right? All right, the world needs that, right? And then there are things that the market will reward you, right? So in another example later, we might not describe it in detail. Maybe Jamie Oliver, he is passionate about what is healthy eating. He has a good skill to simplify recipes. The world needs, people cannot afford. So if you can do recipes that are cheap and affordable, but people will buy his cookbooks. Kind of works hand in hand, right? So these are the 4 circles, right? Questions? I mean, in some ways it's easy, but then I'm sure later on when you pause and think, what is it that gives me joy, right? But you definitely have something that will give you joy, okay? I mean, in the context of today's exercise, well, it's more work-related, but by all means, it doesn't have to be work-related. Some of us actually, the work is just a means to an end, but actually, the most important thing to me is to be a good father, for example, right? The work is just a way to buy food so that my kids can be fed, But to me, life is about being a parent, right? And also at different stages of your life, sometimes the circles are different. At any one moment, you might have different layers of this same graphic. There's one version that is this one, there's another version that is my own personal life. Maybe I am a stamp collector, and there's different version of it, right? Stamp collector also can become some kind of a passive income job, but you are helping other people. Who knows, you know? So let's look at this. Is a fictitious person, huh? I mean, there is Jamie Oliver, who's a real person. There's Henry Ford, who's a real person. But I'm going to use a fictitious person who is a technical engineer person, right? So he likes solving complex problems, and he actually makes him excited solving those complex problems. And his strength is he can think in terms of system, you know? Not, you don't go in and it's like, how do you structure the problem, how to solve it? And he can bridge the gap between findings from experiments and making it into real applications, right? That is what the world needs. And he then has the potential of being appreciated for R&D leadership roles. Okay? So I want to invite you to them now. Don't worry about what others think. Just go into like, how about me? You know, you might be in a situation where you have certain skills, you enjoy doing certain things. Actually, you're solving certain problems, and you know that I wish there was appreciation or reward in that way. Currently, not enough. I don't know, okay? So, just now I described Jamie Oliver, right? So it could also be Henry Ford. I mean, he likes tinkering with engines, and I think you give him something, he will unscrew and tear it apart, right? He's going to be the one who wants to figure out how it works. But in fact, his strength is making things standardized. How it is not a unique sculpture, but how do I break it up? And the world at his time needed affordable, reliable personal transport. You know, if Henry Ford were to ask people like, okay, we want to have better transport, some people would tell him, let's have more horses. Let's feed the horses better to have stronger legs. But the point is, he was passionate about solving a different problem, right? So, okay, now you can touch your phone. Right. So now is where we segue into a little bit of self-processing already. But let's do the first thing, okay? Take the QR code. This is a series of questions, and it goes in different steps and different stages. But the first question is just, at this very moment, are you doing okay energy-wise? Don't worry if it's very low. I know I'm a big boy. I'll be able to deal with it. Okay, and if it works, I will get some results on the screen, right? So at least 2 has been transmitted, 4 has been transmitted, 6, very good, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 people, right? So we should get 10. This is to check that your phone is working, because you should go to your telco if your phone's. Yay! I'm waiting for the last entry to communicate to myself. Okay, cool. Hey, wow! Let's not find out who it is.
Section 9 goes straight to 10.
Okay, so as you proceed to the next one, right? Don't go to question 5 to 8. The next batch is question 1 to 4. And I will flash back to, for example, the Dr. Chen Wei or something. Because you might be thinking, but what? There's no right or wrong. I'm asking you to write down for yourself what phrases or what words come to your mind. This is almost like just something to help yourself to reflect only, okay? Joy, the strength, the need, the market. So if I were to go back to this, right? So that you can like, in case you are thinking like, how should I think about it? We'll do this for like a brief, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, okay? So take your time. And this is for yourself. Wow, really lau bak sai, no? Feel free to raise your hand if you want me to have a little chat about like the 4 sections or whatever. Are we good? As, I mean, when I see more heads up, we'll move on. We'll go into the next slides. Yeah, of course you can. No. Yeah, 1 to 4, then proceed. But then we do 5 to 8 later. Next.
My design internal role, what does it mean internal role?
This is question 5 already.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah, just do 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
Then there will be a kind of a submit.
Oh.
Then don't continue.
Okay.
You feel the urge to complete the entire task.
I'm finding my answer to life. Question 1.
No way. No. Question 1.
At my age, you will reach there faster.
Never mind. Even if you write only a very basic version, eventually when the whole thing finishes, there will be an email to yourself, right? Then it's up to you to kind of pen more thoughts for yourself. This is just the start. Okay? When you're okay?
4 questions.
Yeah, only the 4 questions. Yeah. Hey. You went to look for answer.
Too late when to meditate. I need to find.
Okay, so if we continue, different people have different experiences or feel differently about answering questions. But I feel that very often in modern everyday life, sometimes we don't actually talk to ourselves so much, right? So it's good to reflect on to yourself, what is it that makes you really tick, that you feel joy in doing? But anyone want to share? If anyone were happy, no, we can. When we proceed to the next part, we also will pause to see if anyone wants to share. Anyone have anything you want to immediately jump on and say, I realized this thing that was so important. Anything? Okay, we'll proceed, yeah? So, as you see the diagram, the interesting thing next will be actually what you get joy from doing and what you are capable and skilled at doing. When it's combined, that's your passion. If you were to put a word to it, that's your passion, okay? Because you're quite good at doing. You know, if you are not good at doing it, it's difficult to be your passion. But something that you're very skilled at doing, but you don't get the kick out of it, also not your passion, right? So it's useful to unlock and discover and define for yourself that one or several things that is your passion, right? Quite good at doing, you enjoy doing it. And the thing that is overlapped between what you feel joy in doing and what the world needs. You have that satisfaction of doing something. It gives you a good feeling and it can help something, make the world a better place to whatever degree, or a group of children, or is your mission, okay? The thing that you can help the world a better place and you get rewarded for it is your vocation. Maybe you're a carpenter. Maybe it's about, this is my skill, I get paid for it, I make furniture, it's your vocation. The thing that is between what you're good at doing, right? Specifically, you're good at doing, you could be an artist, or you could be a programmer, you could be someone who does very complex analytical analysis of global trends in numbers or statistics. You get paid for it. That's your profession. Okay? So, and then there is also that space right in the middle, which is that sweet spot. You know how many of you play tennis or squash, racket games? You know what's the sweet spot, right? You know, the feeling different, right? It's like, wow. Because the power is just different, no? So the sweet spot is when, and sometimes it might not overlap in like, wow, completely overlap. But sweet spot can be big or small, even in your racket, you know, different strings or whatever, but then different power, but so sweet spot. But nevertheless, there's always a sweet spot. The sweet spot is where maybe it's something that you enjoy doing, quite good at doing. You solve a problem, you're like, you feel a sense of contributing to something, and you get some kind of praise, recognition, or reward, financially or not financially. You know, if you enjoy doing something and you're quite good at doing something and you solve a problem, but then like nobody shows any appreciation, right? It won't last very long. Because you feel like, why am I doing it, you know? As much as it's meaningful and all that. So all of it has to come together. Conversely, maybe you solve a problem, you're quite good at doing it, you make good money, but you don't enjoy doing it, right? And the importance of deciphering and finding out what it is to you is your kind of sweet spot, is it gives you a motivation, it gives you positivity, it gives you some meaning and some logic to who you are. It forms your identity. I am a person who likes this, I'm good at doing this, I'm actually doing something good, helping other people, making the world a better place, whatever. And people appreciate it. They give me a pat on the shoulder or they reward me financially. Okay? So there's question 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? And I would invite you to think in a moment ago, what were you thinking? Maybe it's different, but to repeat, there's passion, mission, vocation, profession. These are question 5 to 8. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. So in the case of this engineer, right? Passion. Actually, he is advancing scientific knowledge. And it is his joy combined with his strength. That is he would describe his passion. And the mission, right, is transform the research into real world solutions. So it's not just research for knowledge and academic information can translate. It's a mission. He sees that when he finds out something, it becomes a real application. And he has a vocation, right? Is to bridge the gap between industry and academic knowledge and the quest for knowledge. And professionally, it also helps him. It is also, he becomes a leader in R&D and innovation strategy in isolation, right? So consequently, because all these things come and overlap in a certain way, he becomes a more thriving and a more successful person career-wise, right? And he is also, we would imagine that he is also a person who he's not going to be the person who's going to say, my life is boring. Actually, what I do doesn't really mean much, right? And he thrives and does well in his career, right? So the mindset and the self-discovery motivates you in a certain way, and because of the motivation, remember just now, your charisma, your networking skills, and the way that you present yourself has a different kind of vibe that you send out to other people, and that it spirals into a positive direction, which even if you didn't deliberately do it for that purpose, it will help you in your work and your career. Okay, so
Can we go back to
sure.
your Venn diagram for you?
The-
So what if in
this.
what if in the case your passion and your profession, how do you differentiate that? Because sometimes when you're in a profession, you've been there long enough, you do certainly well enough, and you sort of you feel happy that you do well, but that not necessarily is your passion, right? Passion can be a lot of things, you know. So are you saying that to truly find that sweet spot, we need to go and search for something that makes you happier?
Okay, good question. Thank you very much. So, you see, even if you are working, you have been at in a work environment, even if you have been doing the same thing for a long time, sometimes when you are at different stages of your career, the things that you enjoy might get, I believe it or not, when you're younger, when you're earlier in your career, it was about solving that technical problem, but it is very likely that later on it's about grooming other people, helping other people to thrive. It's no longer about solving the problem themselves. It's about maybe when we have a problem, I want to pick the right people to come together and they will get excited and solve this problem. You become the people mover or the person who is doing the encouragement. I choose to believe that the quest and the task of all of us as individuals is to find the sweet spot and the things that will nudge us and get us to become happier. So I haven't brought my book. The book cover there, happier. So I will describe that later as in, I believe in the word happier rather than happiness or happy. Similar to why I will criticize that, when we're in school, practice makes perfect. So practice makes progress. The reason why I prefer practice makes progress is if we pursue perfection, actually perfection or the word perfect is a moving goalpost. Similarly, your promotion. When you were younger, you would say, when I get that promotion, when I get that pay rise. But after you got it, then the target moves, right? It is not wrong to want to aspire to move and advance, but you start to, is more effective if you encourage yourself that I want to progress. I'm not searching for perfection. I want to be happier tomorrow compared to today. It is not that I want to have this thing called I am happy, because, but you can be happier or you can be, right? It's relative. It's relative. So just like between black and white, there can always be more blacker than black, like even darker. I mean, sounds a bit philosophical. Okay, never mind. Bad example. But go for happier rather than. So in answer to your question, happier is what we want to search for, because in today's world and the way we operate every day now, there are many distractions and many challenges. The tone and the mode of finding the modus operandi to keep us in a more optimistic, positive, and happier mode is a stronger anchor for us to thrive and become a more successful member of a larger group. And yeah, sorry.
I can give an example from my own experience.
Cool, please.
Yeah, so because I work longer than all of you here, right? so actually I had 2 jobs before where I do relatively well in them, but I never really enjoyed them. One was when I was in Global Solutions doing a consultancy role. I did very well every year, those days IPF 2.0, 2.0, 1.5 this kind. Yeah, then also when I was a HSSC manager in Bokong, those who are old enough will see me as that. But I never enjoyed the role, because why? I always deliver only a product that people implement, right? So, but then immediately after the first role, right, they asked me to come back to be the lead P-spec. Wow, I love it now, because operations role. And then when they offer me the operations manager role after HSSC, wow, immediately don't even think, I just go back. Because that's why I realized that my passion is actually interacting, solving problems, myself, with the team. So if that makes sense. So yeah, you can be professionally good, but that doesn't give me that it doesn't make me wake up in the morning saying that.
Yeah. Good point. Thank you.
It's your duty to do it well.
Yeah, just do it.
And you might even do it really, really well. That's fine.
Just do it really
Yeah,
real, but
yeah.
but it doesn't give me joy.
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah, yeah.
So if
Yeah.
that makes sense, real job, this is a real job.
And also like passion, right, also changes like the joy. What brings joy in the job? Maybe you start out, you have this thing that brings you joy, but over time you get well, then there's no challenge in that. Then that joy aspect changes.
Yes, of
Right?
course.
Then maybe you want to guide other people.
Yeah.
Bring people into your job. Or,
Yeah.
So that goalpost changes. So what brings joy will change over time, even if you are good at the job.
But the appreciating the philosophy of understanding and acknowledging that we are complex beings. So it's not as simple as when I get A, finish. That's good enough. Because even get A, at that moment in time, you will be different. So you acknowledge it, but your attitude is, at this point in time, how do I move forward in a positive way? Then tomorrow, how do I move forward in a positive way? You create a certain protocol rather than a fixed must be this or must be that. You create for yourself a broad direction of how you want to move. Okay, thank you very much. So now it's back to your phone. Pen in your own thoughts. No right or wrong. It's just for yourself. Okay? Maybe we will put this one on. When you are more or less there, you look up, that's when I know most of the people. Then we're gonna, maybe another couple of minutes. Morning? And evening or morning?
Usually after I wake up, before I leave the house.
20 minutes? 15 minutes? 10?
5 to 10, depending how distracted I am.
Obviously, you found that it helps you, then you becomes a routine,
Helps.
like brushing teeth.
You know, sometimes when you're in a crowded room, then sometimes I tend to have moments where the room goes silent and you hear every single chatting that's going on. So you blank out, you just sort of suddenly you're aware of everything that's going on. Yeah, so I somehow
Become sharper.
like you start to more aware of things. Yeah. And then
Cool.
that feeling.
Cool. Okay, maybe another half a minute more or something, or 1 minute. I don't want to rush you though. Okay, are we good? Zhangmin, do you play any sports?
Oh, I don't, man.
You don't?
Wow, that is the
You sure?
most wrong question you
Not at all?
Yeah, very
Not even when you were younger?
Yeah, I've never been a very sporty person. Me and sports didn't really gel, actually.
Overlap.
No overlap.
There's no way. The circle is
So
like,
the sports layer is not the no
anything to do
circle
with
over.
speed. Anything with speed and movement,
Yeah.
movement and speed.
Yeah.
I'm just very bad.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
very
you're right.
Then you sit there and throw it back.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. You suck.
Since young, it's either I'm excited, I twist my ankle, I fall down. I run for the bus, I also fell down. Not ideal.
Okay, good. So are you happy to share maybe just a little tiny nugget of your thoughts on any of those overlaps?
Actually, to be honest, I really struggle. I really do struggle very badly, right? Filling in any of the.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Even
That's fine.
I think the worst one is the mission. I really think very hard. What does the world need from me? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I even me myself is struggling a lot.
Okay, good.
In the end,
Thank you.
I put in some politically right answer. Maybe nervous. I can help you, but also.
Okay, maybe we go back a little bit. I'm going to tease out like, what do you feel gives you joy? I mean, don't be politically correct. Like, is there anything that gives you joy? Or is there anything that joy, maybe go on passion, joy, and you're quite good at doing, actually you realize?
I feel like next time maybe we should change the stand to other people let me know, right? What am I good at?
Oh!
Yes.
But sometimes that is true because sometimes you might be so live for a very long time where you focus on like the direction going out, right? Maybe Thomas will tell you what you're good at.
Wow, is this a very open one-to-one?
She's not ready for it. Her head, maybe the head will swell. Okay, so I'll leave you guys at that. Never mind, it's okay. But I want to encourage you, and thank you for being so honest. You realize from this exercise that it is indeed true, and I mean, of course, you might say, no, not really that true. It's indeed true that many of us might not spend any time at all on thinking about yourself. And the correlation to that is sometimes, like I said, in our culture, you feel that like thinking of self is like a bit wrong, you know, like being very selfish. But I want to like twist that logic around. If you think of yourself with the ambition of becoming a better person, with the ambition of contributing more effectively, with the ambition of honing your skills so that the thing that you feel you can be a better member, that group, you could be even better. You could be a brother, you could be a father, right? Because we just do, we don't think, right? So think of it that way. Later on, when we pause for another moment, we will not pause to do this now, but the next set of questions is something that is more really kind of work, because we are moving towards the questions that is for each of you, actually questions like currently, because what I understand is in your organization, actually you guys are not stagnant. Every 4 years, 5 years, whatever, you might change a role, change a department. Then you experience what another group of people, what were their roles and all that. And also for some of you, sometimes you might feel like, hey, actually I've learned all the skills I need to do already. I want to, how do I give some signal that I want to try a different role, And some people might say, I want to stay in this role more because I would rather be in this role to excel more, right? All these kind of questions you will have. The implication is there are ways whereby you might say that out, right? But there are also ways that through your behavior and through your the project delivery and the kind of targets that you're hitting, you will actually end up signaling without you actually being quite blatant about it. So later, you might look at some of these things like currently my role, my desired role, and actually, if I'm really truthful to myself, there are some other things that I better gear up if I'm aspiring to go into this other role. And if that is the case, what do I do? Like, do I slowly encourage myself to be more open so that I become like more aware of what's going on in terms of getting insights of what other departments are doing? Is there something that I want to do about it, right? It could be, no, I don't want to do anything about it. It's your choice. But we will come to the second segment. Does anyone need a pee break? I play this first. It's an old film. But it's just that little 5 seconds. So this is Tom Cruise, right? And of course, in today's world, we know that things are like, it's difficult to make money. It's about promotion in our career. We've got all these targets. And the real material world objectives are, if anything, at least equally important to you being yourself, right? In fact, what I'm trying to tell you is actually yourself is more important, then all those things will come together with it. That's what we call the happiness advantage, right? But we will dwell a little bit on some concepts, but I will do a demo of using Notebook LM to teach yourself to learn and to quicken some steps. I mean, there are many AI things that is everywhere now, but I'm going to do a real demo that could be useful for you to study documents, process things, help yourself to learn very quickly, and my hunch is that, I mean, for me definitely, but my hunch is that could be something that is useful for you. As much as it is a free tool, I then realized that actually not many people are aware of it. But I came to the conclusion that, hello, not everyone got time to play and go and explore, Everyone has got really long days working on targets that deliverables in their work, and the last thing you want is to sit down and like play with what is possible. But I'm going to give you a quick jump start into at least 1, 2, okay? So we have like a 5-minute toilet break, water break, okay? And then we'll come back fresh. There's another segment of about half an hour, okay? And in the meantime, I've also passed you the book. Later, I'll describe what the books are, how it can help you. Yeah, I want to. Sorry, Zhang Ming, I put you on the spot there. I was trying to get Thomas to say some good things about you. Is it? I can use this. What do
Ask you for opinion for that. You know your peers better. Yeah, then I saw I pick one.
Also, you want to agent us.
Yeah, then I said you guys select.
So on the road is still about 30 minutes. Okay, just because of the
When from the meeting room, we can see the oil refinery one. Is that part of like your workplace? You guys work there?
That's where we really like Thomas will sit there. The tanker, then the
Yeah.
tank is ASTER. They purposely clean that tank so from
Ah, 真的啊。
I just talk with
And then in the end, I started with lunch. In the end, I forgot about it. I just put it off. Okay, go and
Actually curious, right? If you weren't in the current room, like when you were younger, what do you want to do?
When I was younger, I told you children. Yeah, daydream. You think that, right? You can choose it.
Yeah. Also,
In your ambition, I mean your job, right?
Yeah.
After you graduate, you can choose what you want.
Yeah.
Without the need of thinking.
yes.
My strength to translate complex problems.
Okay.
No, I want to say that like enjoy the skills that your work and where is basically the job that you have learned, but then not necessarily is
I was saying across, the view we can see. Is that where you guys work?
Yes.
It's quite cool, huh?
Yeah.
So can shout all the way across, ah.
You can try. You can.
Oi! Oi!
You let me know. I thought you'll be there tomorrow.
You can have a hotline, like those when we were children, we have a string that type, right? Got sideline, what? You can have direct sideline, what?
Actually, I wanted to ask just now the
Sure.
8 questions, right?
Yeah.
It's about professional or about personal?
It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. Because I mean, is your life about your professional half or is your life about your it's up to you, right? There's no right or wrong, right? I mean, the reality is it's a mixture, lah. But then as to which one you want to work on, it's up to you. Some, like, you see, some of us might feel that work is work. Personal life is personal life. And actually, I work to function my personal life. And some people might feel that personal life is, vice versa, right? And some people might feel that actually both are the same because that is me. But you don't change the definition based on what is the textbook correct or not correct one. You have to do that self-discovery. It's for yourself. What makes you happy? You want chili crab or you want mee rebus or you want char kway teow? There's no right or wrong, right? But who are you and what? And different times, different stages of your life is different, right? So if you feel that you would like to pen down the thoughts, because these are not answers that's going to be tabulated and sent to HR. No. I it's because it wouldn't be my modus operandi. That wouldn't be like how we do things, because this is you. It's you. I mean, you know, every person has the right to choose how they. But the only thing that I might be strongly encouraged, every person ought to invest the attention on themselves. But how you want to do it is who knows.
I think for me, my struggle when it comes to like what are you good at and all that, it's not so much. It's kind of related to what Zhang was saying. Right? Like, you know, so I think a lot of us might feel that we actually benefit better when somebody tells me, not because we do not want to be introspective, but really because I think the culture and the environment, especially when you apply to a work environment, just because I think I'm good at something doesn't mean that my boss thinks I am good at something.
Yeah,
the benchmark is different.
Validation.
You know what I mean? So it's a bit of that struggle to kind of zero in to where we really are when we are doing such reflections. And I mean I've been working for 10 years. It's something I still struggle with.
Yeah. So my response to that would be, indeed, I comprehend that. Nevertheless, there is a version of what you feel you are good at, and there is a version of what your boss feel you're good at. So don't undermine the version of what you feel you're good at, because in the operating world, the version of what your boss feel you're good at is very important. It doesn't mean that what you feel you're good at is not important. And it turns out that the two could be the same, turns out the two might be different, so be it. You know, like if you, when you're younger, when you want to jio a lady to be your girlfriend, maybe they don't like you, but you like them. But maybe it's okay, whatever it is. And so the definition of what are you good at can be interpreted or can be broken down to, I feel I'm good at this, but I don't know. Then what then becomes really interesting and productive is you might want to find the opportunity to validate it. The fact that you pose the question to yourself and have that thinking, right, will help you to trigger the next step. And in some ways you take ownership of it, because it's a bit easier to say, oh, but I don't know what I'm good at because I'm waiting for someone else to tell me what I'm good at. No, but you tell yourself, then you go and investigate and validate. I choose to think that you don't let be appreciative of the external forces and circumstances, and also be humble enough to know that maybe you cannot change things, but also feel that maybe I can be a little seed to germinate some things that come out of it as well. If it doesn't turn out the way that I felt it could, maybe you might be surprised with another version that come out of it, right? Who knows, you know? So it's me taking, choosing to think that the world, I mean, sounds a bit cliche lah. I mean, the world is a benevolent world. If you choose to think that things could be better, things probably will become better. If you choose to think otherwise, so Henry Ford, right? Remember this is very, very interesting and very useful. Henry Ford has a real, it's really from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you cannot, you are right. If you believe that you cannot, you cannot. If you believe that you can, you can. Because you will will yourself towards that direction. You know, if you believe that you can, somehow you will find a way to do until you can. If you believe you cannot, you will convince yourself that I cannot because of this, and then you cannot. But either way, you're right. It's difficult for someone else to prove to you otherwise, right? So,
even I want to add on. There's this thing about outcome and process, right? There's a certain outcome you can achieve. Just because you mentioned there, you can be a different version, but you still get a certain outcome. but the process of getting there, right? Most of the time, what is observable is the process. So sometimes we do have bosses that actually give you a lot of leeway, even if you don't get into the outcome, because they like your process, because it mirrors them, and because if they are successful, they think that by following that process, you are actually a good performer. Then whatever outcome they try to justify. Yeah. So, which is why very importantly is that if you get into a role or you have a new boss that comes in, right, the way you achieve, right, is so different from your boss. You really got to ask yourself. Even if you can achieve the outcome, sometimes he will not see it or she will not see it. She just thinks that you are different and you are probably not doing the job that is the way it should be done. So that's the kind of tension that you must be very careful also. Ideally, you get somebody who works for you.
Yeah.
You cannot choose your boss. Your boss chooses you, right? So, So just a bit of observation of process and outcome.
Yeah, very true. So that segues nicely into, for example, what we talk about for sweet spot, right? The framework, right? It's all about for you to get mental clarity, your own version of mental clarity. But there is an element also, as we spar just now, this point becomes relevant because the communication, right? As you know, to do well in your career, actually there's only a certain percentage of your technical competence and your IQ and your know-how. A lot of it still boils down to, for lack of a better word, like camaraderie and striking a certain frequency that you can jive and work well, so you have a shared ambition of achieving certain results or certain targets or going to a certain destination, right? But communication, so in a way, if you are, and I think it's really, really nice, this group, like in a way, if you are too shy, if you're a shy person, you need to find the moments where you might want to make sure that what you're doing or your opinions maybe not as frequent as the other person, but it helps. You need to process and say, what are the things I want to work on myself to bring myself to the next version and be a happier person, right? You don't force yourself to do something that is not authentic, that is not you. But how can you be the you, but progress? Because when you get to a place where you can communicate if you don't tell the other person might never know. So you might have to find a subtle way of communicating. And networking, the best way of networking is not to go out and say, I want to tell you something. You go out and ask person, what are you thinking? You tell me. The other person is more likely, frequently very keen to tell you, and so listen, and then you get the insights of what the other person, right? And all of us are so keen to tell the other person to prove that I know more, right? And the humility and the right technique, the right technique is to be humble and say, hey, tell me. If you tell me, you tell me. And actually they are happy to tell you because the person is very happy to share what their knowledge is that you absorb. When appropriate, and you can encourage the other person. You also find that the moments when you see a fellow colleague in distress and you can see that, how come they don't want to go out with people for lunch, right? Be the person to say, are you okay? Anything I can do? And the person will appreciate it the same way that you would have appreciated it, but be tactful and be sensible. So that you can thrive and become a person who has those kind of human skills. Human skills are very, very important as you progress in career. Money is very important, but one of the things that can make you work more efficiently is you have the right techniques and you have certain tools and certain skills. Another thing that is important is when you know when to pause. And Stephen, do you know this book? There is one story in there which is sharpening the saw, right? So Does anyone know everyone know the sharpening the saw? Sharpening the saw? Okay, cool. Then I have a chance to tell the story. So the story goes like that, very, very quick, a super short version. So a wise man observed there's another guy, lumberjack, trying to cut down a tree. Cutting, loads of muscle. Like me, sweat, perspiring, hard work. Then the wise man said, "Oh, stop, sharpen your saw." Because it's like, it's not going so well. But the response is this guy is like, no time, cannot, how can I stop, right? So the moral of the story is, you must know when to recalibrate, polish and sharpen your tool. Because sometimes the reason that you give yourself for not sharpening the tool is because you got the crack on. But what happens is, instead of stopping sharpening the blades half an hour, you finish cutting down the whole tree another hour later. This guy was cutting, continue to cut for the next 4-5 hours, then he got the job done. He got the job done, but it was so painful. If he had sharpened the saw, it's more effective, right? So when you have a project, you have a certain task, certain moments of your career, it is useful sometimes. How can I be more smart about this? I'm not talking about cheating. It's like, just sharpen your saw. Make the tool more, solid, more gilat, right? One of the stories inside here. But sharpen your saw in today's context is basically, just like I mentioned, right? Heim, right? So if you guys like fractions, right? You like numbers. So it's the highest impact over the minimum effort, okay? It doesn't mean that it's the highest impact. It's a ratio. Because you might only have 20 minutes to invest as the effort, or you might have 5 hours, but the point is, it's a ratio. Whatever is the effort, visualize how can I have the highest impact. Impact means results, repercussions, or whatever that is a consequence to your effort lah. And as simple as it sounds, we might not be paying attention to it. When I share the slides, or you can by all means take what I did is, there are many things that I've done, and if you are into like reading and learning about well-being, positive psychology, things like that, I have another platform where I have created a collection of 300 videos from people who share knowledge about positive psychology, well-being design, because as you know, I'm architecture, environments and things like that, and also curated 500 books. So if you go use this QR code, basically it's like a closed ChatGPT model. You can type like, what are the symptoms of burnout? Then it will go into the library, it will spit out what it can, and it will also show you the videos and the source that it found. So basically, it is like you using a library that I have curated, okay? And the topics that are relevant for you could be on self-care, well-being, burnout, work stress, things like that. Read out about it. Why is important you be alert and can see that for yourself? Also, it's important because you could pick up the signs of when a fellow colleague is in distress, and then you can render help. When someone is in that state, they don't want to tell you, because especially in Asian context, we don't want to be a burden to someone else, so we will bottle up. But actually, that's when, if you give them a choice, they really want someone to give a listening ear. But they don't want to be selfish. They don't want to ask you for your time because it's my problem. It's my problem. But it can get worse. So the best love you can give is to give that person a few moments to say, Do you want to share any? I just listen. I don't have any wisdom or anything, but I listen and it helps. Okay, so that could be useful. Another thing that is useful, I'm going to do this. This one is the real demo, right? And then after that, we pretty much conclude. We talk a little bit about what follows up after this. In my email that I will send to you, I will give you the direct link to, if you find useful, that the meditation thing. And I'm working on something that's going to be like less. That one is the really like very, very fast one. Now you breathe. Now you do this like really, really fast. It's because in the context of this session is like, trying to just showcase an example. And also the audio version of this book. That means you can drive and you just listen. It's literally reading out chapter by chapter. But let's go to this demo. I wanted to show you guys this interesting tool. And if you hands up, if you have a Google, like a Gmail, your Gmail, yeah. If you have Gmail, you can use this. So it's not even there's nothing that requires subscription, okay? But let me give me a moment. I just go directly. I forgot to prepare myself. I just go and open it first, yeah. Pretty much.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dive into a really powerful framework for finding more happiness in your work. And it comes from a speaker.
Okay. One moment. Okay. Sweet spot. Kill this one off. Okay, if you have Google, your Gmail, you can go to Google or if you type notebooklm.google.com on your phone, right? And you'll be able to follow or even activate, like literally you're just doing your own version. But I'll explain what it is like right now as I open it. Notebooklm.google.com. Is so long as you have a Gmail, it's like your Google Drive or whatever, is one of the Gmail things.
There's an app.
Is it the Google?
It can be an app, it can be on your browser. Either way, it can be both.
Yeah, you can get an app.
Can be both are the same. It's fine.
Is it the Google version of ChatGPT?
No, that's Gemini. But this is I'll explain what it is like. Choose content. Okay. Okay, this one, the reason why I share it is it's a very useful tool, and I'll explain how come it's a useful tool and how you can use it, yeah? So if you were to go into Notebook LM as because you haven't used it, you will find that it's empty. But when I go in, it's not empty because these are all my notebooks. Think of it as I'm going to my work desk and I've got stacks and stacks of notebooks, right? Literally notebook, right? So Notebook LM by Google is for people to have a clever AI tool to learn. What do you mean by learning? Let's say I go into the notebook I created, which is burn out books, right? I collected each of these things on the left is actually a PDF of a real book, It's not even like a 3-page, it's got 200 pages or whatever. In Notebook LM, when you create a notebook, which you do by like create new, right? And then you can either paste in a YouTube link, not your YouTube, any YouTube link, because there could be a lecture or anything. You can paste in Google Docs. You can paste in a website or a PDF or an MP3, right? And you can, for each notebook, you can add in as many as 50 sources. So that could be 50 PDFs or 25 PDF and 25 YouTube links, 50, okay? It is different from ChatGPT in the sense that when I am in my burnout books notebook, right? I can study these sources and these documents, but not, it's within just my environment. It doesn't get shared beyond. You know, if you use ChatGPT, you put a document, actually, they tell you, we are privy to it, we will use it for our own research to grow our AI, we will learn from it and all that, right? But the difference is, these PDFs do not go anywhere, it's within my notebook. It's like my Google, you know, like if you have a Google Drive, or, I mean, it's your Google Drive, right? It doesn't, Google told you we will never copy a ghost of it or to, you know, similar. But what happens is I can, for example, I can check this one and I can say summarize this one book, right? Or I can select all of them, or I can choose two of them, and I can say, for example, I ask for summarize, right? And then it gives me, or I can say list 10 key points from all sources, right? So it is going into the documents, or if it's a video, it transcribes. Everything goes into words. Transcribes. Then it try to give you, okay. That seems like basically is what ChatGPT can do. No different. But there are a few interesting other additional tools here which are interesting. Okay. I can study, you know, some of us like to visualize the relationship to understand things, right? So I can study using a mind map. It's coming out because it's like going through this, right? And then it's trying to do this, okay? We'll come back to that. But I will show you recently, so for example, sweet spot, right? Literally the topic that we're doing. So I could, when I send you the link, I'm not sure whether I've sent you guys the link, I could use this tool here, video overview. And what I did was I chose record a transcript of a 2-hour conversation, and I said video overview, and it gave me this, okay? Without any other intervention, huh?
The right wall, because all that effort, all that climbing is completely wasted if it's taking you somewhere you don't even want to be. And that's the question we're going to leave you with. So, what's in your sweet spot? Take a moment, think about your 4 circles.
Okay. So,
are they aligned? Is your ladder on the right wall? Answering that honestly, well, it might just change your career.
Okay. So it is able to take, imagine, okay, maybe this is a good example. Imagine if you have 10 PDF documents and they are like super boring, like the technical requirements of setting up a new plant, the legal framework of safety for, I mean, it's not the kind that you enjoy reading, sitting there, no, okay? But important, right? So this could be a really useful tool to say, like list down the 20 most key points. Maybe it's still useful to go in detail, but assume that you only have half an hour to process unless you are a super speed reader. Imagine if you have 10 documents that you could, and then you could say, give me the top 20 most important safety requirements, right? And you can also provide all these documents and ask Google LM to give you.
Have you ever felt completely stretched, just right to your limit? Or maybe wondered if there's some kind of secret to...
Okay, to churn all those documents into a 15 or 20 minute audio conversation. So the conversation does not, so when you are in Google LM, the AI does not refer to anything else in the world. It is only referring to this, right? So it's not going to value add, give you some other extra fluff. It is literally, if it is one document of like safety features of whatever, it will just produce and give you a very boring, it will not make it like exciting. It is just literally summarizing the thing. But it's very useful because when you're driving in your 30 minutes, when you're heading place, maybe that's when you don't mind listening and then you can pick up something, right? So how you can use this to your advantage, you just have to be creative. But there are many, many ways that you can use it. Think of, let's say if you have tables and charts for the last 5 years of this and that, you can actually summarize it into the key points with very little time. By all means, if you feel that you still need to go into details, yes, you can double the effort, but this effort only requires a few clicks, right? It's really useful. Right? So this is a direct illustration of what I described as HIME, right? To give you a very interesting example, when I was at another firm, when I was at another firm a few days ago, I asked the HR director, hey, you give me a couple of PDF documents. You know, his PDF documents are this, right? Like really boring stuff. So, but it's important. So you can use an AI tool to help you to summarize. You can even have, if you have a report from the last 5 years, you can use the AI tool to say, analyze and compare the trends. What are the similarities? What do we seem to struggle? Which sector we never improve, right? Because it's reading just text and reading information. The difference is you feel more secure because this is within your notebook. And if you wish to educate someone on that, you can very quickly create audible, like a 20-minute or 15-minute thing. What is useful is when you click the 3 buttons, you can customize. So when you create the audio one, you can say the target audience is junior employees who work at the plant. Conclude with 3 important points so that people can remember. You can give a few instructions, and then it will just follow the instructions and help you to create the thing. These are very useful tools. The context of it is these useful tools will help you to save time. Make sense? Very practical, very useful tools. So I'm going to go back to my slides. Just give me one moment. Forgot to keep it open. So if you have Google LM and you have limited time to play with AI technology, I recommend that's like the first thing that you can play with. It doesn't. It's not even like you require a subscription to ChatGPT. Why would you not? Basically. But yourself lah.
Gmail block.
Yeah lah.
Google cannot.
Oh, on your phone can, on your phone.
Yeah, yeah.